Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is, of course, your boy, Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you amazing Iowa Hawkeye fans are having a fantastic week wherever you may be, and of course, however you may be listening. Hopefully, I get to reward some of you amazing Iowa fans with some good news that dropped earlier today. A commitment was announced for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and it was a good one, folks. It was a gem, a really, really good one in linebacker. And unfortunately, I know I'm going to botch this last name, so bear with me. Derek Weiskopf. He is a linebacker, as I said, out of Williamsburg, Iowa, where former Iowa Hawkeye and current NFL offensive lineman Austin Blythe is from, and also current Iowa Hawkeye wide receiver by way of Iowa Western Community College. I believe his name is Caden Wetchkin, who is a name to pay attention to when it comes time for my wide receiver preview. This is a huge commitment, folks, a massive, massive commitment. I mean, they're all big. They're all big. But this one has a certain significance to it that that not all of them have. It's not necessarily that Derek is, a 5-star guy or anything like that. I mean, he is nicely graded. As you guys can see, he has a grade of an 87. But what I'm about to pull up here is just phenomenal news for the Iowa football program all around. When we take a look at the state of Iowa rankings, Iowa already has the 3 top players in the state, according to 247 Sports, committed to their school. And it's fairly early in the process. I mean, to give you guys kind of some understanding of what I am talking about here, if we look at the state rankings for the 2023 class in the state of Iowa, there's still plenty of uncommitted guys. Caden Proctor is still uncommitted. JJ Cole was uncommitted for a while. He just recently committed to Iowa State. No, Iowa State did not beat out Iowa. Iowa already has their commitment in quarterback Marco Lainez. Jamison Patton is still uncommitted. Kai Black is still uncommitted. Asa Newsome, brother of Mosiah Newsome. Cooper Ebell, who recently received an Iowa Hawkeye offer. All these guys are still uncommitted. And if we go back to the 2024 class, which is younger than the class I just showed, the 3 top guys are already committed to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, of course, certain guys could pop up here, other guys could drop here, things like that. But I think for the most part, it's pretty safe to expect, or safe to say, that these 3 guys, I would say these 4 guys, these 5 guys will likely be, at the very least, in the top 7 when it's all said and done in the state of Iowa. I honestly expect all of them to remain in the top 5 unless a guy here or there pops up that is just significantly better than them, which does occasionally happen. But folks, this is just big time. Iowa is off to a great start in their 2024 recruiting class. Folks, 2 things. Number 1, we are seeing what I have told you guys in the past, which is that the Iowa coaching staff is the best it has ever been when it comes to recruiting talent from the coaches in the Kirk Ferentz era. And it's been good for a while now, even with some previous coaches who are no longer with the Iowa Hawkeyes, such as Tim Polasek and Derek Foster. But Kirk Ferentz has done a good job, or at the very least, the Iowa football program has done a good job in the past, I would say 5 years, 5 to 7 years of hiring solid coaches who also have an ability to recruit and have ties, recruiting ties to certain areas and regions. All the guys that they have brought on, especially in the last couple of years, Jay Neiman, well, specifically Jay Neiman, he helped land Xavier Wanpa. So all of these new guys, Liddell Betts, he helped land 2 highly regarded running backs from last year. All of these new coaches are doing, Kelton Copeland is doing a great job with the wide receivers. All these new coaches are doing a great job in their region, on the recruiting trail, and building inroads for the Iowa Hawkeyes, because ultimately that is what recruiting is all about, is building relationships with the high schools, with the regions, with the camps, and, well, finalizing that by way of commitments and things like that. And really, if you want to get even more in depth about it, you get one guy committed from this school, and that school is a school that has a lot of talent, and you now have access to all the other players that will come after that player, especially if that guy goes to your school and gets a lot of production, a lot of playing time, and goes off to the NFL. So Iowa is doing a great job recruiting. The second thing is, so that's number one, is the coaching staff is very talented when it comes to recruiting. The second thing is that Iowa just hands down is seeing their on the field success, which includes NFL draft picks, transpire into more well-rounded recruiting. I expect, okay, if I am going to prognosticate here, I fully expect their 2023 recruiting class to, at the very least, finish top 35. And I think it has a significant chance to end up in the top 30, which would be the 3rd time in a row that the Iowa football team or their recruiting efforts would end up in a top 30 class. Let's take a look really quickly. Currently, Iowa is 4th. It's very, very early in 2024, but they are currently 4th in the national rankings when it comes to this 2024 class. Again, very, very early. But if we take a look at 2023, they have the 13th best class, and that's still without the top guy that they're after, Caden Proctor, who, if I were to guess right now, Iowa would be the leader for his services. They really are just in great shape. This is the class that I expect to, at the very least, finish top 35. And if 1 or 2 guys go their way, definitely end up top 30, maybe even top 25. If we go back to the 2022 class, with Xavier Wanpa, they ended up 30th in the composite ranking. I don't know what this combined ranking is. This is a new way of, I think the combined ranking includes transfer portal players. It includes every new player brought into the school. And so I do think that includes transfer portal players. But if we just look at the high school rankings, the high school players that Iowa has brought in, they are 30th. Now they are 30th for the 2022 class, which started very slowly. Them finishing this high was actually a breath of fresh air, considering how slow this class started. We could get into in a separate video whether Iowa should really, really go after the transfer portal, if they are really, really missing out on the transfer portal. But I will sum it up by saying this. I think the best thing you could do is recruit high school guys and develop them in your program. There's always going to be the risk that they go elsewhere. The transfer portal for a school like Iowa should be used to round out your roster, not bolster it but round it out in positions where you could use more depth, more experience or leadership, or maybe even playmaking ability. That is what, in a perfect world, which quite frankly, Iowa is doing currently, is how they should use the transfer portal. I don't think they should send a ton of resources at the transfer portal when they can put all those resources in recruiting high school guys. And so I think they're wise doing that. Again, the transfer portal for Iowa should be made to round out the roster with guys who maybe have some development left once they get to Iowa City. And so here we go. Here is the 2021 class. Iowa finished 24th in the only high school guys rankings and 27th when it came to the combined transfer portal and high school guys that they brought on into their school. So Iowa, the last couple of years, has done great, and it looks to be continuing for the Iowa Hawkeyes with regards to the 2024 recruiting class. By the way, Rivals has him graded as a 5.6. I fully expect that to move up as more tape becomes available and as Derek matures as a football player and physically as well. So listen, folks, I'm going to be playing his sophomore highlights in the background. He also did have offers from Wisconsin, Iowa State, and Nebraska. He did grow up as an Iowa State fan, which is what makes this all the more sweet that he committed to the Iowa Hawkeyes. He cited Iowa's culture, their closeness to his home, and the ability to go and watch his brother's football games and still see family while he is attending college. And I agree totally. I agree with that totally. You know, from my experience, I did not want to be so far from my family where it would take forever and a ton of money to go and see them. But I wanted to be just far enough to where it felt that I was somewhat on my own and I could be independent. So I think he will be able to do that. Listen, folks, this guy is 6'3". He still has a ton of growth to add to his frame. I think that this is a magnificent get for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're virtually done for the next 2 years when it comes to linebacker recruiting, and all the guys have come from in the state of Iowa, and especially if Iowa lands one more guy in the 2024 class. His name is Preston Rise, I believe, and the other guy in the 2023 class is Cooper Ebel. If Iowa lands both of those guys, or at least one of them, they are set at the linebacker position for the next 2 years. They are golden at the linebacker position. Now, of course, this is a big deal because Iowa swung and missed on two really, really talented linebackers in the state of Iowa in the 2022 class, both of them committing to Iowa State. Now, ultimately, Iowa was able to get a late bloomer in Landon Van Kekerix, who's very talented, and I think he has a lot of potential. So it's not as though it's all bad, and they landed another linebacker out of the state of Wisconsin. I unfortunately, I'm blanking on the name, so it's not as though the cupboard is bare. It's not. But to pretend like the 2022 linebacker class is the same as what it looks like in the future would not be accurate. It's always big time to win head-to-head recruiting battles. And the last thing that I kind of want to say here is, man, the state of Iowa is pumping out so much more talent than it has in years past. I would say the last 5 recruiting cycles all the way up to 2024 class have had tons of Power 5 level athletes. And there was an article that was done by Alan True about it, and I've told you guys exactly what it is. It's simple. Kirk Ferentz and Hayden Fry have had a lasting impact in the state of Iowa. 40 years of excellent football at the University of Iowa. Those guys who played for Hayden Fry and for Kirk Ferentz, who then, when they're done playing football, stay in the state of Iowa, and they go on to coach their high school team, the high school program of the place that they live. They go on to give out their not secrets, but information on how to get physically fit and get bigger and faster and stronger and all of that stuff. And all of that information has been big time for the athletes in the state of Iowa. You see Cole's kicking academy comes from a former Iowa State player, but you have Keith Duncan, who is starting his own thing. You have many former Iowa Hawkeye players who are absolutely giving back to the state of Iowa, the state where they played college football. And that is why there is so much more talent being pumped out of the state. And it is big time, which is why it's even more impressive that Iowa has the top 3 in-state players. And quite frankly, they're in phenomenal position and currently favored to land the 4th best player in running back Titus Cram. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for me. I am stoked about this. This is big time for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Iowa is in great shape in 2023 and 2024. How do you feel about this as an Iowa Hawkeye fan? Does it make you believe that expectations should be lifted up a little bit, or do you not really care about recruiting? You know the drill. Thank you guys so much for listening, folks. Please consider smashing that subscribe button because, well, subscribing makes you feel good. We are so close to 1,000 subs. I can taste it. I really can. You guys are the best fans in the world, and you guys are the ones who are helping make this channel the #1 YouTube channel. Well, let's just say Iowa Hawkeye content creator channel in the United States. And I'm not kidding about that. You guys really are pushing this forward and making it one of the top content sites for Iowa channels for Iowa Hawkeye content. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish I could use better words to articulate my sincere thanks when it comes to that. So I really do hope you consider smashing the subscribe button, help your boy get to 1,000 subs. At the very least, like, comment, share. You know the drill. I will see you guys next time. DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings because your feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.